They're getting their noses fixed and lips filled. Cosmetic surgery is witnessing a surge in demand.
Health officials say they're seeing an increase in people wanting plastic surgery brought on by the pandemic. Plastic surgeons are calling it the mommy makeover.
Hollywood, a place where dreams are made and sometimes shattered. Behind the flawless red carpet appearances and Instagram-perfect selfies lies a darker truth, a world obsessed with perfection. Today, we're peeling back the layers, literally, to reveal 13 of the most shocking plastic surgery disasters in celebrity history. From botched injections to life-altering complications, these stories are not just cautionary tales. They're downright jaw-dropping. Number 13. Julia Teroshenko, a beauty queen's nightmare. Julia Teroshenko, once crowned a Russian beauty queen and admired for her striking looks, had the world at her feet. At 43, she decided to enhance her already stunning features. A few tweaks here and there. Eyelid surgery, a little eye correction, and liposuction. It was supposed to be a small investment in preserving her beauty. But instead of perfection, Julia woke up to a nightmare. Her face was horribly swollen. Her muscles didn't move the same. She couldn't smile like she used to. And most disturbingly, she could no longer close her eyes completely. Imagine that, lying in bed, unable to blink or rest properly, your body fighting to recover from a decision you thought would make life better. Desperate for answers, Julia confronted her surgeons, accusing them of gross negligence. But the doctors pushed back, claiming a rare genetic skin disorder called scleroderma was the real culprit. Julia wasn't buying it. She insisted she was in perfect health before the procedures. No red flags, no conditions, no warnings. Just a woman trusting her doctors and paying the price. What followed was a brutal uphill battle. She sank thousands of dollars into corrective procedures, trying desperately to get her face back, trying to reclaim her identity. But the damage was done. Julia's story is more than a cautionary tale. It's a gut-wrenching reminder of what happens when the pursuit of perfection collides with medical failure. She went from runway-ready to reclusive, from public adoration to private despair. Number 12. Lin May, baby oil horror. She was fire on the stage. Lin May, born Lilia Guadalupe Montalvo, wasn't just a dancer and actress. She was a sensation. In the 1970s, she dazzled audiences across Mexico and Latin America, captivating fans with her bold performances and sultry beauty. But behind the makeup and spotlights, time was catching up, and Lin knew it. As the years passed, the pressure to stay young, vibrant, and relevant in a ruthless industry began to weigh on her. Like many women in the spotlight, Lin turned to cosmetic surgery. Not for vanity, but for survival. Her initial procedures were standard, minor enhancements, nothing drastic. But then came a moment that changed her face and her life forever. In a desperate attempt to fix a facial deformity she had since birth, Lin trusted someone she believed to be a professional. Instead of medical-grade fillers, this individual injected baby oil directly into her cheekbones. Yes, baby oil. And the results, devastating. At first, the changes were subtle, but soon her face began to swell, distort, and deteriorate. The beautiful features that had made her an icon became unrecognizable. Fans were horrified. Her face seemed to melt and harden at the same time, leaving her trapped in a mask that no longer resembled the woman she once was. Lin underwent multiple corrective surgeries, trying to repair the damage, each one more invasive, each one carrying higher risks. But the damage had already been done. There was no going back. Lin May's tragedy is one of trust misplaced, beauty misunderstood, and a warning against the seductive lie that youth equals worth. Number 11. Bryan, from fillers to blindness. In 2009, Bryan was a confident, radiant 47-year-old woman. Known for her grace and charm, she simply wanted a fresher appearance. Nothing extreme, Just a little tweak here and there to feel like herself again. She walked into the clinic thinking it was a routine procedure, but she had no idea it would nearly destroy her life. Carol received facial fillers, a combination of Botox and a dermal filler that, unknown to her, contained silicone, a substance not meant for the delicate skin of the face. The injections were made directly into her forehead and cheeks, but rather than smoothing out fine lines and restoring youthfulness, her face began to swell, painfully, grotesquely, and permanently. Within days, her face started to disfigure. The swelling worsened. The fillers moved under her skin. Her features became distorted beyond recognition. She looked in the mirror and didn't know who was staring back. But it got worse. Doctors tried to correct the mistake with more injections, ironically worsening the damage. The silicone spread beneath her skin, embedding itself in tissues. Her face became too heavy to hold natural expressions. The swelling became so severe that her eyes were literally pushed out of alignment, leading to permanent blindness in one eye due to optic nerve damage. Emotionally crushed, Carol withdrew from the world. In 2013, Carol underwent a major reconstructive surgery performed by a team of skilled surgeons at UCLA. They removed much of the silicone, reshaped her face using tissue grafts and implants, and did their best to restore her dignity. But some scars can't be erased. Today, in her late 50s, Carol has transformed her pain into purpose. She travels the country speaking out about the dangers of cosmetic procedures, the lack of regulation in aesthetic medicine, and the importance of choosing board-certified professionals. Number 10. Tara Jane McCannichi, living Barbie on the brink. In a world obsessed with filters, fantasy, and flawless aesthetics, Tara Jane McCannichi took things to a whole new level. A 33-year-old nurse from Melbourne, Australia, Tara didn't just want to enhance her appearance, she wanted to completely transform it. Her goal? To become a real-life Barbie doll. Tara has spent over $85,000 USD, and counting, on cosmetic surgeries. That includes 5 breast augmentations, 6 nose jobs, and countless rounds of Botox and fillers. Her body has become her canvas, and Barbie is the blueprint. On her social media pages, she flaunts her ultra-sculpted look in colorful wigs, barely there outfits, and exaggerated poses. She refers to herself as upgraded Barbie and wears her title with pride. Her tiny waist, inflated lips, and massive chest have made her a standout figure, not just in the operating room, but in tabloids and talk shows worldwide. But here's the kicker. Tara isn't done. She's already planning more surgeries, including breast implants so large they would push her to a 15C cup size, despite doctors warning her about her dangerously low body weight. Multiple professionals have refused to operate further, citing serious health risks, including internal organ displacement, tissue damage, and permanent disfigurement. Her response? A shrug and a smile. For Tara, plastic surgery isn't about insecurity. It's about identity. It's about becoming the person she sees in her head. In her words, "I'm not hurting anyone. This is how I choose to express myself." Tara's story reveals a modern epidemic. The belief that beauty is something we can buy, build, and never stop improving, no matter the physical or emotional cost. Number 9. Pete Burns, 300 surgeries and a legacy of pain. He was bold, defiant, and unforgettable. Pete Burns, the iconic frontman of Dead or Alive, burst onto the music scene in the 1980s like a glitter-covered storm. But over time, Pete became known for something else: his face. What began with a simple nose job would spiral into an obsession that consumed his fortune, his image, and ultimately, much of his life. And to that end, he subjected it to more than 300 cosmetic procedures. Yes, 300. Pete's obsession started small, a tweak here, a contour there. But after one lip procedure went disastrously wrong, when a filler caused an infection and severe swelling, he found himself on a surgical hamster wheel. Doctors had to remove parts of his lips, leaving open wounds and permanent disfigurement. But instead of stepping back, Pete doubled down. He underwent more surgeries, cheek implants, lip reconstructions, jawline enhancements, and endless rounds of Botox and fillers. His appearance changed so drastically that fans barely recognized him. But Pete didn't care. In interviews, he fiercely defended his choices, calling plastic surgery an art form and a tool of transformation. Behind the fierce exterior, however, was a man suffering. Pete battled depression, financial ruin, and physical pain from endless surgical complications. Yet Pete remained unapologetic. To him, each procedure was a brushstroke on a canvas of identity. His evolving face was a protest against conformity, a rebellion against a world that insists on boxes and binaries. In 2016, Pete Burns died of cardiac arrest at just 57 years old. The news stunned fans, not just because of his untimely death, but because of the silence that followed. Suddenly, the man who refused to be ignored was gone, and all that remained was the image of his surgical legacy. Number 8. Dennis Avner, the stalking cat. Most people want to look younger, some want to look different, but Dennis Avner, known to the world as Stalking Cat, wanted to become something else entirely. His dream? To live as a human-tiger hybrid. It sounds surreal, like something out of mythology or science fiction, but for Dennis, it was deeply spiritual. A Navy veteran and skilled computer technician from Michigan, Dennis's transformation was not a publicity stunt or cosmetic whim. It was rooted in his Native American heritage, particularly in teachings he said came from a spiritual advisor from the Huron or Wyandot tribe. At just 23 years old, Dennis made a lifelong commitment to becoming as close to a tiger as humanly possible. Over the next 2 decades, he underwent 14 surgical procedures, pushing the boundaries of body modification, which includes subdermal implants to create ridges across his forehead and the bridge of his nose, full facial tattooing in tiger stripe patterns, split upper lip to mimic a feline snout, surgically reshaped ears, extended canines, custom teeth sharpening. And yes, he even had a mechanical tail crafted to move like a tiger's. The transformation was radical. To some, it was freakish. To Dennis, it was freedom. Despite his extreme appearance, Dennis lived a surprisingly ordinary life. He continued working in tech and had close friends within the body modification community. In 2008, he even earned a Guinness World Record for the most body modifications to resemble an animal. But as the years went on, life grew harder. Dennis faced rejection, loneliness, and increasing financial struggles. Many saw him as a curiosity, a spectacle, not a person. And while the body mod community embraced him, the outside world often treated him with ridicule or fear. In 2012, the story took a tragic turn. Dennis was found dead in Tonopah, Nevada, from what was ruled a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was just 54 years old. His passing sent shockwaves through the alternative culture scene. Tributes poured in. Friends remembered him as kind, gentle, and spiritual, a man who dared to be different in the most literal, visible way. Number 7. Donatella Versace, the designer of her own face. In the fashion world, Donatella Versace is more than a name. She's a force. The platinum blonde creative powerhouse behind the Versace empire, Donatella's rise to fame was forged in the shadows of tragedy and in the bright lights of haute couture. But beyond the iconic Medusa logo, plunging necklines and glittering runways lies another story: the transformation of Donatella herself. Her appearance has been the subject of endless headlines, speculation, and judgment. But Donatella isn't your typical case of plastic surgery addiction. Far from it. Her journey with cosmetic enhancement began young. At just 11 years old, she started lightening her hair under the influence of her beloved brother, Gianni Versace, who saw in her the potential for striking glamour. It was the first of many transformations. As she rose in the ranks of the fashion world, Donatella embraced the pressure of staying camera-ready. She reportedly turned to Botox, fillers, laser treatments, and likely more subtle enhancements over the years, not necessarily to erase time, but to craft an image that matched her brand: bold, powerful, and unapologetically Versace. But the public wasn't always kind. Tabloids called her unrecognizable, plastic, and overdone. Her lips became the subject of viral memes, and her changing facial structure fueled constant speculation. Yet through it all, Donatella never wavered. In an interview with Love magazine, she said it plainly: "I do not believe in totally natural for women. Natural is boring. I'm a fashion person, and fashion is about change." That statement alone separates her from many of the celebrities on this list. Donatella doesn't hide her transformation. She owns it. For her, plastic surgery isn't a correction. It's a statement. As the face of one of fashion's most daring houses, Donatella's look became a walking extension of the Versace brand. Loud, powerful, unapologetically high-octane glamour. She redefined what it means to age in the spotlight, not by fighting time, but by sculpting her identity on her own terms. Number 6. April Michelle Brown, a nightmare with no legs. For many women, the desire for curves, particularly a fuller backside, has become a defining beauty trend of the 21st century. Influencers flaunt their hourglass figures. Celebrities boast about their natural assets. And everywhere, women feel the pressure to measure up. April Michelle Brown was one of them. By all accounts, April was strong, ambitious, and radiant. But like so many others, she struggled with body image. She wanted a boost, a little enhancement to feel more confident in her skin. A butt augmentation seemed like a small step toward self-love. But that small step led to an unthinkable nightmare. Unable to afford a licensed plastic surgeon, April turned to what she thought was a trusted source, a woman who offered cheap backroom injections. The practitioner claimed it was safe, routine, and no big deal. What April didn't know was that the injections contained industrial-grade silicone, the same kind used to seal bathroom tiles and windows. Not FDA-approved, not medical, just toxic poison pumped into her body. Shortly after the procedure, April's health began to spiral. Her body rejected the silicone violently. Infections spread rapidly. Her skin became inflamed and began breaking down. Her legs felt like they were burning from the inside out. She was rushed to the hospital in agony. The diagnosis: life-threatening infection. Doctors gave her a devastating ultimatum: amputate or die. To save her life, surgeons were forced to amputate both arms below the elbow and both legs below the knee. Let that sink in. A woman went in for cosmetic injections and lost all 4 limbs. Most would retreat into silence, into bitterness, grief, and rage. And April did go through all of that. Depression, anger, shame. But what happened next turned her from a victim into something far more powerful: a survivor. April became a living testimony to the truth that beauty should never be worth your life. Number 5. Rachel Napier, party filler gone wrong. It all started with a little touch-up. Just a bit of Botox here, a nip there. Rachel Napier, like many modern women, felt empowered by cosmetic enhancements. They gave her confidence, control, and a sense of self-care in a beauty-obsessed world. She had already undergone several successful procedures: a nose job, a facelift, breast augmentation, and some Botox. Each one made her feel just a little more put together, a little more in control of time, a little more her. But then came the party. It wasn't some underground back alley operation. It was a casual social gathering: friends, music, drinks, and someone offering lip filler injections right there in the living room. Rachel didn't hesitate. She trusted the vibe. The injector claimed to be a professional. The results were supposed to be subtle, just a little extra plump for that selfie-perfect pout. But within hours, everything went wrong. Her lips swelled to grotesque proportions. The tissue around her mouth became hard and inflamed. She was in excruciating pain. Something was seriously, dangerously wrong. Panic set in. Rachel was rushed to the emergency room, where doctors determined she was experiencing a severe allergic reaction, possibly from contaminated filler or improper technique that hit a blood vessel. They had to dissolve the filler immediately using hyaluronidase, a risky reversal process that, if delayed, could have caused permanent disfigurement or even tissue death. All this from a single casual injection at a party. In her own words, Rachel described the experience as terrifying. She realized how close she had come to losing her face, her confidence, and possibly her life, all for a shortcut she thought was harmless. Since then, Rachel has become a passionate advocate for responsible cosmetic practices. She openly shares her story, urging others to think critically before agreeing to any kind of cosmetic procedure, no matter how small. Number 4. Jordan James Park, addicted to enhancement. When you think of cosmetic surgery gone too far, Jordan James Park might be one of the most unforgettable faces that comes to mind. With oversized lips, razor-sharp cheekbones, and a face sculpted like a hyper-realistic cartoon, Jordan doesn't just embrace plastic surgery, he celebrates it. Hailing from Birmingham, England, Jordan skyrocketed to international attention after a botched lip procedure landed him on the hit reality show Botched in 2015. But unlike most guests who begged the doctors to reverse the damage, Jordan had a very different attitude. "I love my lips. I want them bigger." That moment told the world exactly who he was, not a victim of plastic surgery, an evangelist for it. Inspired by his idol, Kim Kardashian, Jordan has reportedly spent over £150,000, nearly $200,000 on cosmetic procedures. His transformation includes dozens of lip fillers, multiple nose jobs, lip lifts and chin implants, eyelid surgery, liposuction and body sculpting, and even semi-permanent makeup, giving his face a contoured, ready-for-Instagram glow 24/7. He proudly flaunts his look on social media, dubbing himself the British Lip King. But behind the over-the-top glam lies a complicated truth. Jordan has admitted that surgery became an addiction. Doctors have warned him repeatedly about the dangers: vascular occlusions, nerve damage, facial paralysis, and the increasing difficulty of future reconstructions as his natural tissues become more and more compromised. His look challenges society's ideas about what beauty should be. And while some call it outrageous or grotesque, Jordan sees it as a form of artistic rebellion against traditional standards. Number 3. Barbara Eden, a graceful exception. In a world where celebrities race to reverse the clock with needles and knives, Barbara Eden stands apart like a still photograph from a golden era. Best known as the mischievous Jeannie in the iconic 1960s sitcom I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara's dazzling smile, wide blue eyes, and effortless charm made her an instant sensation and a symbol of classic, all-American beauty. But what's truly astonishing? Barbara Eden was born in 1931, and even in her 90s, she continues to radiate the same poise, charisma, and unmistakable glow that first captivated audiences over half a century ago. While rumors have swirled for years, whispers of possible facelifts, Botox, or laser treatments, Barbara has never publicly confirmed any cosmetic procedures, and maybe that's what makes her so magnetic. She doesn't chase headlines with dramatic reinventions. She doesn't hop from surgeon to surgeon in search of a younger version of herself. Instead, she embodies something far rarer in Hollywood: aging with authenticity. Barbara has always insisted that she feels no need to compete with younger stars, nor does she feel threatened by time. Her focus isn't on defying age, it's on embracing life. Number 2. Pixee Fox, the cartoon come to life. Forget chasing conventional beauty. Pixee Fox wasn't interested in being pretty. She wanted to be legendary. Her dream? Not to look like a supermodel, but to transform herself into a living cartoon character. And unlike most dreams, she followed this one to the edge and beyond. Originally from Sweden, Pixee was once a stunning young woman with striking natural features. But to her, the real world was never enough. She idolized animated figures, big eyes, tiny waists, exaggerated features, and flawless symmetry. Her icons weren't celebrities. They were Jessica Rabbit, Tinkerbell, and the most stylized visions of beauty you'd find in ink and pixels. So she set out to become one of them. Her transformation involved more than your typical cosmetic tweaks. Pixee underwent 6 rib removals to achieve an ultra-cinched 14-inch waist, multiple nose jobs to sculpt a pointy doll-like profile, lip lifts, cheek implants, forehead reshaping and jaw contouring, eye color changes through dangerous iris implants, ear modifications to look more elf-like, and countless rounds of Botox, fillers, and breast augmentations to maintain her hyper-feminine form. In total, she's reportedly spent over $500,000 US, and she's still not finished. But fantasy has consequences. Doctors have repeatedly refused to operate on her, citing major health risks, permanent nerve damage, organ displacement, spinal complications, even life-threatening instability from her surgically modified torso. Some have called her case one of the most dangerous body transformations in modern history. Yet, Pixee pushes forward. She documents her journey on social media with photos that don't just shock, they polarize. To some, she's a fearless rebel. To others, she's a cautionary tale spiraling out of control. Number 1. Jocelyn Wildenstein, the original Catwoman. She's been called many things: the Lion Queen, the Bride of Wildenstein, and most famously, Catwoman. But behind the tabloid nicknames and shocking photos lies a story of wealth, heartbreak, obsession, and the dangerous pursuit of perfection. Meet Jocelyn Wildenstein. Born in Switzerland and married into one of the richest families in the world, Jocelyn lived in rarefied air. Her husband, Alec Wildenstein, was a billionaire art dealer, and the couple spent years mingling with royalty, celebrities, and the elite. Jocelyn had it all: beauty, money, status. But even in paradise, cracks begin to show. In the 1990s, reports surfaced that Jocelyn began altering her appearance. Not for herself, but to please her husband, who allegedly adored exotic animals, especially wild cats. And so, in an effort to maintain his attention, Jocelyn began a radical transformation. Multiple facelifts, cheek implants, lip enhancements, eyelid reconstructions, and an unconfirmed number of eye surgeries later, her appearance began to shift. Drastically. Her once elegant features became more angular. Her eyes pulled upward, her cheekbones enlarged, her lips thickened. Her skin, pulled tight and smooth, began to resemble a feline mask, more tiger than woman. Public reaction was swift and brutal. Magazines mocked her. Talk shows debated her. Online commenters dissected her face with gleeful cruelty. She became a symbol of surgical excess, often topping worst plastic surgery lists. Many believed she was addicted. Others assumed she was delusional. But here's the twist. Jocelyn denied it all. In multiple interviews, she claimed she had never had excessive surgery, and that her distinctive appearance was largely due to her natural Swiss heritage and high cheekbones. She insisted that the public had exaggerated her transformation, and that her confidence remained unshaken. Today, she lives quietly in New York, still fiercely private, still as unrepentant as ever. We've seen fame distorted, faces transformed, identities lost, and in some cases reclaimed. From celebrity glam to surgical disaster, these stories remind us that beauty comes at a price, and sometimes that price is everything. Whether it's a warning, a statement, or an obsession, each transformation tells a story far deeper than skin. If this video shocked you, hit that like button. Drop a comment below. Which story stunned you the most? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the glitzy, gritty world of Hollywood.